Welcome back to the Science of Parenting podcast, where we connect you with research based information that fits your family. I am Mackenzie DeYoung Skelling, our podcast co host, and I'm a parenting educator. In our last episode, we explored how modern games have changed and how those changes are really affecting families. Today, we are continuing that conversation by taking a closer look at microtransactions and how the information gap that often leaves parents unaware of how these systems really work. We welcome back So Young Park. So Young, thank you for being here with us again today. Just for our listeners, maybe if they're just jumping in on this episode, can you tell them a little bit more about yourself again?
Yeah, I'm Soyoung Park, a graduate student in Human Development and Family Studies at Iowa State University, studying about digital literacy, game culture, and its influence on family relationships and well-being.
So lately, we're gonna just jump right in. These are mini series, so we're gonna just jump right in. Lately, I have been hearing from parents who are surprised by how much money their kids are spending in games. That's kind of what we're focused on today. It usually starts with those small, frequent purchases, some dollars here and there until really they get that monthly statement. They look at their credit card bill or their bank account, and it looks nothing like what they expected. Many they are saying that they don't realize how those in-game systems work. They feel frustrated by how confusing it all is. It's just really adding up. So young, what the heck is going on? Why is spending in games so easy and yet for families it is so hard to manage?
Yep. Uh, these days, we feel that the monetization system in modern games has become really complicated. So if we go back to earlier generation, buying a game was usually very simple. Like you bought a game console or a cartridge,
Mhm.
a one-time purchase package, and that's it. It might have felt expensive at the time, but it was very clear and predictable.
Mhm.
However, today's the system works very differently. Modern games, free to download, and that sounds very harmless or even generous. And
Right.
I remember reading that today's game monetization systems is often compared to an amusement park. You can enter for free, and but once you are inside, almost everything requires extra payment. And that description captures the current game monetization systems very well. Once a child is inside the game, they enter an environment filled with small spending opportunities. $1 to $5 here and $10 there. So, for example, they may need to buy a better pass or special skin or uh, limited time item that disappears tomorrow. Each purchase feels small. It doesn't feel like a big decision, but over time, those small payments start to add up. And that's where a new kind of financial conflict between parents and children begins.
I really love that idea of the amusement park comparison, right? It's like you um, to walk in, there's no gate fee, but you pay for the rides, you pay for the games, you pay for the cotton candy, right? All those things, and I
Yeah.
can see why parents feel shocked when it really adds up. I will say what I've gathered from you so far is that it sounds like maybe it's not just necessarily that money per se, but it's that parents are understanding how the system is structured, like, in the first place of how that all comes up, and that's maybe what's causing problems. So, is there any way that parents can start to recognize those risks in advance before kids jump into games? Maybe things to look for before, like I said, those children start playing those games?
Yes, honestly, right now there isn't a clear system that fully explains those risks to parents in advance. And many parents genuinely believe they've done their homework. They checked the age ratings, they looked the ESRB ratings, the Entertainment Software Rating Board, which is to give video games their age ratings, similar to how movies are rated. So, for example, when you see labels in the game, there is E, which is for everyone, and T is for teen, and M is for mature. They check for language, violence, or sexual content.
I've definitely seen those. I've played a number of different video games, and I know that they're usually printed, like, on the front or the back or even, like, in your game platform, it's right there virtually for you, it's black and
Mhm.
white in your face,
Yeah.
um, and I guess that I always assumed that that was the best way to decide which games would be appropriate to buy.
Mhm. Yeah, most rating systems, including the ESRB, were designed to evaluate content, what you see on the screen, but not how the game actually works. They don't tell parents how much time a game may take, how strong it encourages spending, or hard time it can be to stop once play begins. So, generally, when parents don't know much about how the game works, they often look at the graphic and think this game looks kid friendly. And the name of the game sounds harmless, and the rating says E, which is for everyone. So the contents may even appeal creative or educational, and the visual may look very simple and safe. But underneath, the system follows the rules that parents were never clearly told about.
And that's really eye-opening. Like I said, I just assumed that checking the rating was enough, but that, if it says E for everyone, I feel reassured, and we often don't have time, many of us don't have time to really dig into to every detail. We trust that. We watch a preview, we look at that rating, we figure, "Oh, yep, we're good to go." But can you give us an example of a game that maybe looks that way, that looks simple, but might work, like, very differently underneath?
Yes, a really great example is Roblox. To many parents, Roblox looks like cute Lego style creative games because the characters are blocky and the colors are bright.
Mhm,
It feels playful and safe. And on the surface, it's a game where kids can build, explore, and be creative. It can also be used in positive ways, including in education.
mhm.
However, behind that simple appearance, Roblox is much bigger than it looks. It's not just a game; it's a platform. There are many servers that users can join. So, simply inside the Roblox, there are several key features. First, economic activities where children can buy and sell virtual items. And second, user generated content, meaning anyone can create games on the platform. And third, social interaction, including chat features and multiplayers play together. And all of this happens at the same time. So for children, it may feel like just a fun game, but for parents, it's not clear that Roblox is more like a digital marketplace and a social network combined, not just a single game.
Yeah, it's so much more, and that's really interesting. It definitely is more complicated than it looks, right?
Mhm. Yes. And this is where the limits of the rating system become clear. Again, the ESRB rating may tell you about kind of general content, but it doesn't fully reflect things like in-game spending pressure and kind of about open chat with strangers and item trading and virtual economies
Mhm.
or pressure to scam and manipulations. So these are kind of system level features and not just visual contents.
There's so much more going on, and what I'm hearing is that it's clear that if parents are better understanding how that all works, that underneath side of things, if they're understanding those games their children are participating in, maybe that can help them to change how they're responding as children are playing those games.
Absolutely. When parents don't really understand how the game system really works, they may react out of uncertainty. That's completely normal. But when parents say no without really understanding the games, it may weaken their authority since kids often know more than parents do.
Mhm,
And that can quickly lead to frustration on both sides. So parents don't need to become gaming experts, but they do need a basic understanding of how those games work and what kind of risk they may include in games.
mhm.
And even a small amount of understanding can completely change the conversation at home with children. And that's really the goal, not panic, not overreaction, but understanding.
I really like that. Yeah, we're not trying to panic. We're not overreacting. We're trying to understand. It's less overwhelming when you put it that way. We're not trying to ban everything. We're not trying to constantly fight, but just we're trying to understand what is really happening and responding in a smarter way, which is such an important shift. And with that
Yeah.
shift,
Mhm.
because these are mini episodes, we're actually going to wrap things up for now. I am looking forward to our next episode, which we are going to dive into those practical parental guidance pieces, how parents can communicate about and navigate those modern games with their children. Uh, Again, once we understand that system, we're not just reacting, we're guiding. With the science of parenting, we love guidance, right? So thank you again, So Young, for sharing all of your insight. I'm looking forward to further conversations with you. And listeners, we look forward to you all joining us next week as we tackle the ups and downs, the ins and outs, and the research and reality all around the science of parenting.
The Science of Parenting is a research based education program hosted by Mackenzie DeYoung Schelling, produced and edited by Brock Bierman, with contributions from Barbara Dunn Swanson, Dr. Connie Beecher, Haley Walker, and Morgan Noel. Send in questions and comments to parenting at iastate.edu and connect with us on Facebook. This program is brought to you by Iowa State University Extension and Outreach.